Okay, welcome to the meeting. We're going to go through tonight the global law trials that we're going to be implementing on the first games of the season this weekend, which is very short notice, we know, but it's been decided that to benefit the national side, we will be implementing them, and we'll use it as a learning process as we go. We might make a few mistakes when we start, but we'll work on that with teams and players as we move along. It's more to prepare the national team players than to actually implement as we normally would. Normally we would have waited until the start of the season next year, but as we don't have that luxury and we need to prepare the guys for national games in October, November, we're going to start straight away with these at very short notice. The clubs have got all emails today, so they all should know by now. Okay, what I'm going to do though, I'm going to share my screen and we will load up the web page from World Rugby on the Laws webpage, and we'll go through each of the 5 global trials individually. We'll try and go through some of the videos. My internet is not the best. I'm having to use my work phone. I hope it has enough internet on it. I don't know yet. And hopefully the videos will all play okay for you. And if they don't, I'll send the link in the chat on this group.
Just quickly, Julian, sorry to interrupt. If you optimize your video, it'll play well. I learned that little tip when it came to my webinars.
What was that? Sorry?
If you, when you share your screen, there's a little drop-down box that says optimize for video, and it'll make it smooth as butter.
I'll do that. Oh, I got it. Optimize the video clip. There you go. Thanks for that, Carl. And I'm just going to share my whole desktop. Right then, we'll get started. What I'll first do is share this link in the chat for everybody, so you've all got a copy of it in case you need to click on things. And we'll start off with probably the simplest of them all. It's the 50-22 law. Any rugby league fans here? Silence, because you're all in mute. A couple of hands went up. This is inherited from rugby league. I think it's 40-20 in rugby league, where a player, when he kicks it from his own half, it will be in union. So if you kick the ball from your own half and the ball goes into touch inside the opposition 22 indirectly, so it has to bounce in field, you will actually get to keep the line out yourself. So it'll be your line out, not the opposition's. So the intention is to actually encourage defensive teams to put more players in the backfield, which actually lowers the number of players in up front and creates more attacking opportunities and slows down the defensive line speed. So the law is 18.8a. I think I have it open here. Is that the right one? Law 18. And the change is here, if you want to see the wording for it. Player in their own half kicks the ball directly into touch in the opposition 22. And either team did not take the ball into their half. So it's the same as with a 22 dropout. You have to have a tackle, ruck, or maul take place. There has to be a phase of play in their own half. And then they kick the ball, bounces in field, and goes into touch inside the 22. They then get to keep the ball. The kicking team keep the ball.
It doesn't matter where it bounces. It can bounce in the, between half and 22, then go out into the 22. Does it have to bounce in the 22?
No, it doesn't have to bounce in the 22. It can be a grubber kick the whole length of the pitch. So it can bounce all the way down the pitch. It's a kick that's not touched by anybody. So it's player in his own half kicks the ball indirectly into touch. There's nothing about it has to go directly into the 22.
There are a couple of videos on the web.
Take the ball into their own half, tackle, ruck, or maul took place within the half, an opponent touched the ball within the half. Yeah. So any of those happen and it applies.
The couple of videos show that they can bounce it before the 22 and
Yes.
in the 22.
So what I'll do now, I'll just play this video to start one of them off.
Grant. Going to Newsom. Fields a return pass and then loads up and knocks it down that right-hand touchline.
Yeah, good play. They
So that would have been,
tested the Rebels' defence, their left edge defence. Not too much.
you know, is here. He's kicked it. You notice it's a grubber. It's bouncing along the ground, just like you've said. And the ball goes into the 22.
Loads up and
They will
knocks it
retain the line
down that right-hand.
in that instance. There's a lot of examples here. I don't think we need to show them all. Again, another kick.
Lance just props and then fires one, looking for the 50-22 and getting it.
Was that pass back or it's always inside?
So again, you see the line out hand came up.
Yeah, that's great play from Joe Lance, just identifying there was only one man in the backfield for the Brumbies,
And ended up going out.
making sure that that ball bounced before it went out.
So who do we think is going to be the one person in our games? Who's going to be the people who are going to have to be on the ball for where the ball was kicked from?
It's definitely going to be the ARs. They're going to be.
We're going to need a lot of help
main
from
ones.
ARs for this, I believe. I don't see it happening a lot in Sweden, but ARs are going to be very, very. Well, we're going to need to question them a lot more when the ball goes out in the 22 area, if it's a long.
Wait, so may I ask if you kick it from your half into their 22 and it goes out, is your line out then?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
If you pass the ball back into your own half and then kick it directly, however, very similar to passing the ball back into the 22, taken back, there has to be a phase of play. The opposition have to touch it before that 50-22 law applies. So that ball taken out, well, ball taken back is same as the 22, the referee's responsibility. The AR's there to back him up. And then when the kick is made, the AR needs to be very quick off the mark and identify where the ball has gone out. Now, there is talk about changing the flag positions to make this easier, but I don't think that will happen. Bringing them closer to the line. But I can't see that happening. It's going to make things even worse. You're muted, Nigel.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. Oh. It doesn't want. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As I was going to say, it's a trial law, so they're not going to move flags just yet,
No.
as you say. It's going to take a while, but yeah, it's a pretty simple rule to follow. I mean, yeah, just think of it as a 22, but they've just got to get it back over halfway. It's the easiest way to remember it.
It's exactly the same. Just treat it like a 22 kick. As long as it's gone back over the halfway, there's been a phase of play, or they've started in their 20 in their own half and kicked it long. Do we need to see any more videos on this, or is everybody clear on it? Shout if you want to see some more. Okay, great. We'll let you look through those in your own time, so we can move through onto the slightly more complicated ones. There's a lot of videos you can see, all based on different angles of kicks and turning to find space. I think that's more for the coaching staff. Now, next one, the goal line dropout. This is the one the props are going to love because it means they have to run more. The trial, if the ball is held up in goal, there is a knock on from an attacking player in goal, or an attacking kick is grounded by the defenders in their own in goal. And play now restarts with a goal line dropout anywhere along the goal line. So instead of having that attacking scrum or defending scrum, in the case of a knock on by an attacking player, you now have a goal line dropout. And the intention with this is to encourage the attacking play more. Murray?
Yeah, so just a quick question about definitions. It is a bit pernickety, but where it says attacking kick, the definition of the attacking team is the team that is in their opponent's half.
Correct.
If it is kicked, if I am kicking the ball from my own half and it winds up in the in goal area and is then grounded, I'm not the attacking team.
Now, this
So what
is a good
happens?
question, because they are talking about, somebody's brought this up in the law, in the review of this. And I think because of this, they're going to redefine who the attacking player is defined as, because they've made a cock up with that. So it is the team in possession of the ball. So if I have the ball, I am the attacking side. So if I've kicked the ball into the opposition's in goal, then I'm classed as the attacking player there.
Even if you aren't under current definitions, the attacking
it says attacking player, not attacking team.
Okay.
And that's the small technical way they've got out of it. But I do believe that they are talking about redefining the definition of the attacking team because of this. Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem.
But it does say attacking
if
player.
an attack,
So
Julian,
it's a
if an
player
attacking
in control of the ball.
Sorry, Julian, if an attacking player is over the try line and drops the ball backwards, as in not forwards, and then it's grounded by a defending team, that's still actually a 22 dropout then, is it?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. So say the attacking team, the guy, he gets over the line,
Yes.
but then he drops the ball, but not forward, rather backwards.
Yes.
And then a defender grounds it over the try line. That's actually a 22 dropout rather than a goal line dropout.
Correct.
Okay.
No change in that law. Okay. So, and even in this case, the attacking player, if he's knocked the ball on in goal, he's in the opposition's half. So it is the attacking team. So we're covered there. An attacking kick is grounded by the defenders in their own goal. If they've kicked it from their own half, we're going to still class that player as the attacking player. And they've grounded the defender in their own goal. Or do we? That's a good question, actually. That's one to bring up.
Julian?
If they've kicked from their own half, are they the attacking player? Or are they the defending team who's kicked it long, grounded it, and is it then a 22?
I would argue if you have the ball, you're the attacking player.
Well, technically, if, as Murray said, if you're in your own half, if you're in the opposition half, you're classed as the attacking side.
Yeah, but it's a kick, don't forget, from the attacking team. So he's kicked it down into in goal, and they've
Now, if he's in his own half, it's a kick from the defending side.
we need clarification.
We do, don't we?
Yeah.
But I
It
think
says player, not side.
we're going to have to decide this in this group now, because we're not going to get
It's
a
a kick,
clarification.
isn't it? It's a kick. It's an attacking kick, whether he's in his half or in the opposition's half. It's still a kick.
Yeah, would be
And
my view.
it's an attacking move, isn't it?
I didn't realize there was a definition of attacking kick or a defending kick. If
There's
you
a
kick,
definition of the
forward.
attacking team and the defending team.
I think you might be reading too much into it.
Second.
The team who has the ball.
Attacking team, the opposite to the team whose half play is taking place. So if I have the ball in my own half and I kick the ball, I am the defending team kicking the ball. So technically, by the law, it would be a 22 dropout.
22 dropout.
It would be a 22 dropout, not a goal line dropout.
Mm.
If I do a little grubber through in the opposition's half, or a kick through in the opposition half, or a cross field kick, and they then ground it, I'm the attacking player because I'm in the opposition's half, and then it's a goal line dropout. So be very careful where they're kicking the ball from.
I reckon for easy's sake, the way I'm interpreting is it's basically instead of a 5 meter scrum, if it's taken back over the in goal by the defending team, that's the way I'm interpreting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the kick idea, Julian, as Murray was saying, if it's from the other half, it should be a 22 dropout.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they're technically the defending team, as you say, from the letter of the law.
Yeah. So if I kick the ball from my half and somebody grounds it in goal, it's a 22. If I put a crossfield kick in from the opposition half, or a grubber through in the opposition half, and they ground it, it's a goal line drop.
That is so confusing, Julian. Like,
No, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all.
No, it's both the same way.
I would
if
play
it's
it
taken back, if it's taken back over your in goal by the team defending, then it's a goal line dropout. If it's not, then it's the normal 22-20 drop.
You're talking about possession of the ball here, so surely possession of the ball means you're the attacking team. So even though the definition of attacking team is which half of the pitch you're on, but when you're talking about actually having the ball, then you're the attacking team, whether you're actually in your own half or not.
Agree.
So if you whether you kick it in their half or your half,
can I simplify it? So if I kick the ball from my own half, I am necessarily the defending team when I kick it, but when the ball goes in goal, I'm now the attacking side. So it's been kicked by, at that point, it's the attacking side.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Grounded, it's been kicked by what is now the attacking side. Therefore, it is goal line dropout.
Agreed.
Yeah. Does everyone agree with that?
Because, I mean, you can make a kick in your own half, say 5 meters from the halfway line, make an attacking kick, right?
Yeah.
You can make an attacking
if
kick.
the ball is kicked into the opposition in goal and is grounded, it's a goal line dropout.
Yeah, that's the normal rule.
Yeah.
Even though if it's kicked from our own half.
Sorry, Nils?
Even though if it's kicked from our own half.
Yes.
Okay.
Because what happens is, after the ball has crossed into the opposition, play is now in the opposition side. So the ball's grounded, and it's now it's now from the attacking side. So they've changed from defending to attacking side when the ball crosses the line.
So now I'm gonna throw a cat amongst the pigeons, Julian. If I kick it from inside the opposition half and it rolls over and the opposition ground it, what is it then?
Then it's a goal line dropout.
Then it's goal line dropout.
No, it's not, because it wasn't taken back by the opposition.
Sorry, say that again.
If I kick it from the 40-meter line in the opposition's half,
yes.
It rolls over the goal line, the opposition then ground it. They haven't touched it.
Yes.
That's a 20-meter.
By the attacking side in goal, it's a goal line drop.
Yeah.
So right there, attacking kick is grounded by the defenders in their own goal, then it starts with a goal line dropout.
Doesn't matter if it's rolled over or who took it.
Yeah, but it's not taken back though.
Doesn't have to be.
No.
It does. So it's only if it's kicked within our half. So it's kind of like a different version of the 40-22. We can get a goal line dropout if we kick it from within their opposition's half, and it doesn't touch any of the opposition.
Oh, you mean kicking it back into your own half now?
No, I'm talking. Say we've got possession. We run it out. We've played some phases. We run it into the opposition's half, and boom, we put a chip over the top. It rolls over in goal. We're running to score. The opposition grounds it instead.
Goal line drop.
Goal line
drop. It doesn't matter where they are on the pitch.
No.
There's some videos there. Why don't we have a look at those?
We look at the videos?
Yeah. Might clarify a bit.
First one's held up, so we'll watch that one.
Karifi can't get in there again. Rudu, he's been looking for some room around that ruck. He's found it. He's hard to put down. He's a big halfback, Rudu. Rumbles toward the line, crowd go up. But he's held up underneath, and it's a goal line drop.
Very simple.
That's clear.
That's clear, yeah? Any questions on that?
Nope.
Great. The next one's the same. Tap and go, ball line held up. It's a little bit
on the ropes. They don't want to make a mistake and they want to drive their advantage home. And when the opposition are on the ropes from close range, Leinster are usually so clinical. It may not yet be a knockout blow, but it certainly will put them very, very close to a vice-like grip on the game. Have they got it down here from close range again?
Ball is clearly held up over the line, goal line dropout.
No, so they haven't managed to get it down. I think it was Michael Milne in the thick of things.
I think those two are very clear.
I think we can all agree that should have been a try for Leinster.
Typical. Okay, so knock on in goal again. This one's actually
Ivan Nemer.
And it's some of you
Garbisi.
coaches who are here right now.
Sarto slides by the tackle of Nick Grigg. Sarto, can he get there? Oh!
Knocked on.
Did he get there? Knock on in goal. So
look what Glasgow do afterwards, though.
No, it's a goal line dropout. Decisive from Marius Petraea.
Anywhere.
Goal line dropout. Glasgow go quickly. Here's Forbes. Forbes pins his ear back. Is there anybody in the backfield? for Benetton. Forbes is going to go coast to coast for the
You as
Warriors.
referees, what do you have to prepare for
Denied
at that
his
point?
try
I can't hear you,
for
Dylan.
the Warriors.
Sorry, Mike.
That's
couldn't
pretty
hear
clear.
you. The
Yeah.
video was-
Yeah, the sound's pretty loud on the videos.
yeah. What are you saying?
If you're a referee and you're refereeing that goal line dropout, what do you need to prepare for?
Sprinting 100
Up the
meters to
park.
the other end of the field.
Yeah.
Making
Especially
sure
if
your
you're
ARs in the
face
right
at the
spot.
back.
Making sure your ARs are fit enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Assistant referees hang back a little bit.
22 meters, eh, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one though, guys. So just to put it in the picture, when there's obviously held up, what you're going to find is, especially for grassroots rugby like what we have in Malta, is that you're going to get a lot of players if they're clued up actually diving all over the ball so that the ref can't see it, right? So to make sure that it's not grounded, because then they'll want possession to kick the ball away. So you need to get yourself in a position early to see if the ball's actually been grounded or not, because you won't have a chance to see it otherwise.
Good point, Sam. So it's going to encourage us to have good positioning in goal to see that grounding as early as possible.
More running.
And then if we do see it held up, we can blow it and then prepare to sprint because they might go quickly. Hopefully they won't.
That drop line, goal drop line, there's only has to go over the line.
No, it has to go to the 5 meters.
Yeah, well, I'll go.
Hang on, am I on? Is it? And it's any. Oh, yeah, I am. It's anywhere along the goal line too. It doesn't have to be under the press.
Anywhere along the goal line, they can take the kick. Very similar to 22. Let me just show you the. Hang on.
Wait, so did you say I have to go past the 5 meter line to count?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So hang on, I'm just trying to find the law here. So the location of the kick for the 22 dropout on or behind the defending 22 meter line, and the sanction line, so the line it has to go over, and the line that the opposition players have to be behind is the 22. So it's the same line for the 22. For the goal line dropout, the location of the kick is on or behind the defending team's goal line, and the sanction line is the 5 meter line. So the opposition have to retire to the 5 meter line, and the ball has to cross the 5 meter line. It can be kicked and blown back, very similar to a restart.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same as a regular restart from a kickoff, from a 22 dropout, and now the goal line. So it can
if it doesn't go 5
back, but it does have to cross the line.
What's the sanction if it doesn't, Julian?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Here we go. Must be taken at the location, must be taken without delay, must cross the sanction line. The non-kicking team has the option of free kick being taken or the kick being taken again, or a scrum. So the props, if it doesn't go 5 meters, the props get to run it, have a little hug again. So
Okay. 13B, we've got to check.
Must not go directly into touch.
No, I'm saying 13B.
Yep.
Must be taken without delay. Just got to be careful that, they might throw it right to the other side and then throw it back again because the defenders are setting up. So we've got to be clued in on that. So
without delay doesn't mean
Yeah.
they can't take. How long do they have to take a 22 dropout, a restart?
once they pass the ball, kick it out. That's it. Me, drop it.
2 or 3 passes maybe sometimes at the higher level.
Yeah, with this not. Yeah, it's grassroots.
Yeah.
You don't want them passing backwards and forwards,
No,
trying to get away from the
absolutely
defense.
No. If they start doing that, tell them, take it now, please.
Yeah.
Let's try and manage it early days. Take it now. And then if they don't, we've got the option of a free kick there. Okay. Again, very similar to the 22. Opponents must not advance in front of the sanction line before the ball's kicked. Opponents in front of the sanction line must not disrupt the dropout. So if they take it quickly, they're not.
What's the sanction? I can't see the sanctions on it.
The sanction line is the 5 meter.
No, I can't see because all I can see is your pictures of people. Yeah.
If they get in the way and block the kickoff, what do you think it is, Mike?
Sorry?
If they get in the way before they've retreated the 5 meters, what do you think you're going to
No,
do?
it's a penalty.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same offside.
If it goes back, we continue. If it doesn't cross the sanction line, advantage may apply. So we can play advantage for it if the opposition pick the ball up and play it. Very similar to a kickoff if it doesn't go 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just have a look at 13D as well, so everybody.
I can't hear you.
13D, can we have a quick look at that one so everybody knows what happens if the ball goes straight into touch?
Yeah, doesn't go into touch, so you get a choice. 4 options. They get to take it again.
Wow.
They get a scrum. Where will the scrum be?
Where the kick was taken.
Okay.
Same as a 22. Where would the scrum be?
Centre.
Centre line. Line out, where it takes, so they accept the kick. Where would the line out be from? It's gone directly out.
In line with where they kicked it from.
Which would be on?
5 metre.
The goal line. 5 metre then.
Be on the 5.
Goal line. 5 metre.
5 metre
Or
then.
they can take a quick throw, accept the kick, take a quick throw and play on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It'll be the opposing team, not the kicking team, but the opposing team that chooses that, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And teammates of the kicker must be behind the ball when it's kicked. Any questions?
Yeah, is there any video of the contentious issue of where the ball is kicked from?
Yeah, we can have a look at those now. So we've got that with the
This is the one down below, I think, Julian. This one here is a
no
good kick.
support. Let me have a look at this one first.
Now
Bloody kick taker.
Long kick from his own half.
and this one's rolling and rolling and rolling, and it's going to be forced.
Grounded. So that was the questions we had earlier. That one's been kicked from his own half and that goal line drop.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
So there's your answer.
Better watch the videos first.
Great bit of weight on that. TJ, 15 seconds or less than 10 now.
Taking his time, isn't he?
You remember it. He is, yeah.
Bloody well in training.
I'm quite certain
He's waiting for his
he
teammates to
knew
get back.
that he was playing for a goal line drop out there,
Bloody
and a chance
hurricanes.
to get the ball back. And Geordie Barrett will kick this for all it's worth. High towering drop out down.
Oh, we don't need to see the rest of that.
No.
What we will find is that teams won't want to kick the ball back to the opposition. So they might try and run it out of their own in goal. So be aware.
Drills it down the centre. Game of foursome backs at the moment. We're not looking for the lines. Hegarty with the talk. And this one might be a bit big. It's going to sit up in the in goal. Oh, McGregor goes quickly. Oh, goodness me. That could have been a calamity. And now Godwin's isolated. The Reds pile in.
Be aware of those situations where they don't want to take that that quick the drop and then take the long drop. Because it's a 22 dropout and a goal line dropout. There's a big difference, especially in distance, especially in a game where kicking ability isn't as good as it is in a professional game. Murray?
Would we be able to talk about any problems which might arise if a goal line kick is taken and bounces off the posts?
Right, what do we think is going to happen there?
And say goes either dead or goes touch and goal, does it?
Ball didn't go 5 meters, so it's a sanction, and the team has an option of a scrum or a retaking kick.
There you
So you're saying that they drop out from behind the goal line and it hits the post
and bounces back.
That's pretty fucking stupid. If you
Are we allowed to penalise stupid?
However,
60
Probably Scotland would do that.
Cormac just said. Yeah, it hasn't gone. He's taken the drop kick. It's been a drop kick. It hasn't gone the 5 meters. Therefore, you have the options available to you.
You got to be a numpty to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The ref gets to have a giggle at that one.
Yeah.
And again, the last video is they take the risk to play the ball out again. So in the professional game, we'll see more of this. In the community game, I'm not so sure, but we'll find out when coaches start coaching their players about it and get more used to it and learn if they can kick the ball far enough. Any more questions on the goal line dropout?
Yeah, that's pretty clear to me now. So basically, I mean, it's not as cut and dried as saying it's replacing the 5 meter scrum for all instances.
No.
It's kind of, you can use it almost as an attacking weapon from your own half. If it rolls over, then it's
and it is meant to reward the attack and the defense depending on good play. For the held up, it's meant to reward the defense by not giving the attack an attacking scrum. And for the long kicks that have been grounded, it's meant to reward the defense by not giving a 22 drop out. It takes the ball back further for extremely good kicking.
I'm clear on that now.
Yep. Okay. No more questions on that. We'll move on to the fun stuff. Where we get some contact.
The easy stuff.
The flying wedge. This has actually come in and replaced a definition. The cavalry charge has been removed from law. We don't really see it anymore. So it's been removed from law, and they've added a new definition of a flying wedge, which if I just go to the definitions again and go to F. So flying wedge, an illegal type of attack, which usually happens near the goal line, either from a penalty or free kick in open play. Teammates are latched onto either side of the ball carrier in a wedge formation. So in a triangle, ball carrier in the middle, players on either side. Often one or more of these teammates is in front of the ball carrier, so they're ahead of him sometimes. But it is a ball carrier and two players latched onto each other, taking the ball into contact together. And that is illegal now. For three of them.
Yeah.
Or more.
Ball carrier and two.
Ball carrier and two, or two or more.
Yeah.
Taking the ball into contact. Yeah. And you'll see the word latched in there as well, which has also been added into law. And bound to a teammate prior to contact. What's the definition of bound, guys? You should all know this.
Hanging on with your hand on the back of his jersey.
No, shut up, Michael.
At the back of a scrum. Shoulder bound.
Yeah.
Full arm.
Full arm.
Full arm.
Bound on with an arm and together. So if he's just grabbing onto his shirt and pushing him forward, he's not really adding any weight into that player. However, if he's got a full arm and bound in, he's adding his whole body weight into that contact, which is why we're taking it out of the game for player safety.
This flying wedge, is that can be classified as foul play or just?
Yeah, we'll get to that now. So this is to reduce the number of events where the ball carrier and multiple support players are in contact prior to contact. That's a bit of a mouthful. And to protect the tackler, who can be faced with a combined force of 3 opposition players. So it's to protect that tackler, and it's for player safety.
So this means you can't do what South Africa did in the World Cup final and make a preset maul, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll show here, and it's been nicknamed a mini scrum. So here it will be illegal to the England 5 to pre-bind on the ball carrier and another latcher. So in this,
the blue body's on the floor. Shauna Brown looks to try and get a mitt on it. It's a boot in the face for her troubles. Then drives hard. There's another advantage for an offside.
That would now be illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
Wait, would this be classified as foul play for the refs, for the ARs to flag down, or?
The referee should see that anyway.
If the referee misses it, yeah, I would say it's not serious foul play, but it will be foul play, yeah. So you could flag it. I do.
Referee misses 3 people binding in front of them.
It's law 922. Law 9 covers foul play. Let me just find it. 12, 21, 18. Be the first one. There we go. So law. No, that's the. Where is it? Sorry. Law 922.
Yeah.
Teams must not use the flying wedge.
Yeah. Okay.
Very simple.
Sanction.
Penalty.
And if you keep doing it, well, yeah.
And if they keep doing it, we know what we can do.
Yeah.
Send all 3 of them off.
Tell them naughty boys and girls.
Paperwork. Don't like that.
No.
Okay. So watch the first video. We'll just watch a few more of them.
It's a bit blurry now.
Yeah, very clear from Holly Davidson. The advantage still continues.
And the first one's okay. There were only 2 players.
Did that with 2 players?
Yeah, no, that was 3. Sorry.
Ball
Look
carrier
at number
plus
19.
Teammate is allowed.
Actions of number 19 here. You see there, she's banged
very
onto two
clear from
players.
Holly Davidson.
That's now illegal.
Advantage still
But you're-
continues for England.
But you're saying you can do that. The one you said before was okay, whether it was just two players bound onto each other. Sorry, ball carrier +1. Is that okay?
Ball carrier +1 is okay. Ball
fine.
carrier +2 is not okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll get onto
Also-
the ball carrier. We'll get onto the ball carrier +1 in a second. Okay.
But then what's the whole latching thing? Because that's
That's the next one we're going to review.
okay.
Yeah. So we'll move on to that in a minute.
The with the cavalry charge, you also had that there was no movement by the attacking team at a penalty before the ball is tapped. Are they?
No, it was more close to the line. But the cavalry charge was more people running up in a line, and then you're passing to an individual player, usually with players in front of them.
They're running before the tap.
They're running
It's
before the
not the
tap. I
running before
couldn't.
the tap. It's the passing to a line of players before the tap.
Yeah,
and
but the
giving
running.
the ball to players behind it. Ball to players behind it. So
Yeah.
there's no opportunity to tackle them.
Running before the ball is tapped was also included in that, and that's also pretty important. I can't find what's replaced that or
Nothing.
what we can.
You're allowed to run before the ball's tapped.
allowed to do it.
If you're the defending side, if you have the ball, you're the attacking side. You can move before the ball's tapped.
Yeah, okay, but
You just
that
can't run
also
up in a
creates
line of
dangerous
players. You
situations.
shouldn't run up in a
so-
line of players and pass the ball to the guy behind them, and have
Yeah.
4 dummy players basically shielding them from view.
Well, you can now because Gary Charge has been taken out. So
Yeah, I know.
3, hands back, thank you.
Well, London Irish have managed to slow it down.
He's not the 9, he's engaged in the breakdown.
There's Mulapola. Another meter made.
Up on the latch, stay on your feet.
And you notice the referee's mentioning the word latch. And
Jules.
he's trying to get up on his feet, and we'll cover that in the next law change.
Jules,
man-
Jules, there's no point of you talking during the video because we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. That one was clear in that the binder comes in after the ball's picked up. He's bound in before contact. People have taken the ball in, and that's illegal. Any questions on the flying wedge before we move on?
Hi, Jules. Magnus here. I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
And that's actually about what you said about the taking away the cavalry charge thing.
Yes.
Just like one of the refs were asking about as well, because I've seen so many injuries in the youth rugby over the years when you pass to a player coming in full speed on a kickoff and just runs over players. So that's okay now if you start running from way back and then you just tap and give it to the player when it's have full speed and the defenders have to stay put until the ball is tapped.
Yes.
Kit. Okay.
Find the,
Oh, it's good. Then I don't have to be upset anymore for seeing it. Yep.
Didn't you ask me that question in one of the webinars? I think you did.
Yeah, I did because I've seen a lot of concussions and players that stop playing due to it because, they
You
just
can
get
see the
injured.
definition of a cavalry charge, which is an illegal type of attack, which usually happens near the goal line, where the attacking team is awarded a free kick or penalty. At a signal
Yeah.
from the kicker, a line of attacking players charge forward. So it's not just one. If it's one,
I think what you described, Magnus, I don't think that's ever been illegal.
It's not.
It's never been illegal.
Jules,
and
what can you, Jules, say
Never
what
been
you've just
illegal
saying
for a
just then.
single player to run forward with the ball and take it from a penalty. It's never been.
I think that's always been allowed, Magnus.
It has.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The cavalry charge is a line of attacking players charging forward. And when they get close, the kicker taps the ball and passes it to one of them. So it removes any opportunity at the last second to identify. So you've got 4 basically dummy runners or blockers, often in front of that player. So it removes any chance to defend against it.
How many cavalry charges are we going to see on Saturday now?
What you can do there is apply offside rules for this, though, because those players are in front of the ball carrier. Therefore, they're offside as soon as he catches it.
yeah, or obstruction. Yeah.
Yeah, so you still have that and obstruction laws to back you up.
Just
if
getting
you
a big collision there. They when they receive the ball, they're at full speed.
However,
and
the
defenders
player
have to come
receiving
up
the
to
ball
speed.
at full tilt from a penalty has never been illegal. And I've made that mistake and penalised players for it in the past once. And then I checked it and I found out I had it wrong. And I apologised to the player after the game and bought him a pint. Right. Any questions on the the flying wedge? Great. Okay, and now we'll move on to the one player pre-latched. So to counter the fact that you can pre-latch to actually make it legal, they brought in this trial to recognise the potential for one player pre-latching before contact. So this player must observe all the requirements for a first arriving player as well, which means they have to do what?
Feet. On their feet.
Stay on their feet. So once they've gone into contact, if the tackled player goes to ground, the second player must unbind and stay on their feet.
And do not pancake over the player or seal off.
Exactly. If they do go to ground on top of that player, what will happen?
Penalty.
There we go.
Pancake.
Pancake. We all have
Pancake.
maple syrup.
You got to have some maple syrup with that.
I was going to say, there's no maple syrup though, Mike. Sorry, mate.
It wasn't
We're not going to use that line on the pitch, I hope. You can have some maple syrup with that, boys. You've just pancaked on top of it. Right. The intention is to be more consistent in the management of that one person pre-latching. So they have to stay on their feet and treated the same as an arriving player. We'll have a look at some of the videos now then. So look here, the latch is in front of the ball carrier. So the defender does not have a clear entry to the ball carrier. So it's an obstruction penalty here. Or should.
It's a free kick. Throw to the rear was better that time for James Moore. Now, can the Japanese get their try?
Number 21.
Yes, they can.
I'll watch it in slow motion now. Watch number 21. You can see him running in from a distance now.
See here, they dummied them all set up, and he just good.
There. Can you see that angle where he's put himself in front of the ball carrier?
He's blocking, yeah.
Yeah, so there's
offside.
Leg driving, good latch on top of him, and it looks like
got back around again.
It looks like who's
it shouldn't have been a try anyway.
Who's Toby Faletau, who kind of misses the initial tackle, and they have all the momentum.
Okay, is that clear?
Yeah, you got to be on the ball there to watch it.
Okay, and now we have a good example where the player has to stay on their feet.
Saving tackle as well.
Okay, look at France 3. One player bound in.
Around the corner by France.
And she's straight off her feet there. In a downward position.
Yeah, it's penalty, of course.
Preventing any defence to be able to play the ball or attack that.
No contest.
No contest whatsoever.
Use it.
Ollie doesn't penalise it. But
that's the same as a ruck or a tackle. You know, if they're off their feet, they penalise.
Exactly. Yep. So there's the tackle being made, and she's gone straight off her feet with it. So she's never released. She hasn't made any attempt to stay on her feet. Clear?
She's a
prop. You give that a penalty anyway before.
Tackle as well.
Any questions?
No.
No. Good. Here we go. Margin almost 2 latches, and they pancake to deny contest. Love that word. Might have to make pancakes tomorrow now after that. Thank you, World Rugby. So.
Cliff. In position there is Marlon Yard, always easy to spot. Penalty going against Sale.
You're making no attempt to stay on your feet.
Sale player was making no effort.
So watch here now. It's almost latched. You notice there's just a hand on that first player. There's almost an arm on the second. So you could nearly, this is very close to a flying wedge here.
To stay on his feet.
For the example, you see straight away, he's gone straight off his feet, this first player. Yeah. Second player's joined in. There's no attempt to gain their feet again. Pancaked on top of the ball, prevented the contest. Easy penalty. Okay.
Sometimes you see these support players, they'll land beyond the tackled player or to the side on the ground.
Are they going to prevent a contest in that situation? There's your first question.
Perhaps not to the side, but if they're beyond, then yes, you Yeah, then you have to step over 2 people to get.
If they've gone
try and wreck the
beyond,
ball.
yeah, they're actually obstructing anybody joining that tackle area, and they can be penalised for offside at that point.
Staying on their feet either.
Yeah. If left the ruck and gone beyond, they need to get out of the way and allow arriving players to come in. They cannot stop. They have to keep moving. If they keep moving and get out of the way, play on. If they don't, we need to deal with them.
Or if the opposition don't actually put anyone to contest.
Yeah, you could probably manage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, here we have a good example. So the Latches seals onto the ball carrier, so he's bound in. He reloads, which means he gets to his feet afterwards, but he has denied a contest. And if he denies the contest by going off his feet, we need to penalise them. So I'll show you this now. We've mentioned these before in players going off their feet and reloading, that if they deny the contest in 15s, we need to penalise immediately.
It's disastrous. Hull didn't win anywhere last season, albeit a curtailed domestic campaign. Win a single away match. Lost this time winning the penalty in the breakdown.
Because he's off his feet one.
Weak.
Yeah, gone to ground, and off his feet there.
I think it's actually Tom Cruise.
Still tried to get up, but he's prevented the contest from the defence. So
Technically,
prevented the
technically he hasn't reloaded because he's still on the ground, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He hasn't
but
actually got back on the player.
They found a best example they could find closest to it.
Yeah.
There are some better examples, I think, coming up.
You know the example I gave you at the start before we started the webinar. This is very similar, and this one and the last one, and it's going to be such a fine line. I mean, the previous rule was, the previous law was you couldn't seal off anyway, but it's just going to be extra scrutinized if there is seen to be 1 or 2 latches. I mean, in my example, there's only 1, but I can see there being problems, possibly with being penalized for going off feet, like in those last 2 examples.
I do actually expect the penalty counts to go up early on because of this, until players get used to it. And we have been told, even last year, to go very hard on players going off their feet now. Yeah, less tolerance than in the past. Less management will whistle is the guideline for off feet, for player safety and for increasing the contest of the game. Should we move on to the next one? Again, Latcher straight to ground, denying the contest.
From Racing, big take by Ryan. And another pick and goal from Jordan Joseph, this imposing number 8, but defence over the top from WP now.
No, not mine.
Yeah, glimpses there.
It's pretty much just
ball. Edinburgh did really well to actually get a
So here, he's gone straight to ground, you can see. He's on
foothold back in their defence end. You can see
the contest of the blue player.
Sealing off penalty.
Doesn't matter what it is.
So costly in the Six Nations.
Seals
No
off,
chance
still
for compete there for
Number
WP
3
now.
Number 3 can't play.
Latching, whatever. They seal off, ping it.
Yeah. So it's a good penalty there.
Really.
We'll try the next one. Latcher goes off their feet again and denies the contest.
They peel off and get close. Ryland in. Valentini! So close.
So this should be a penalty.
Yeah.
Because you can see clearly, where are we?
Right.
There. He's gone off his over the top and sealed off. And you can see his body position, his head down there, sealing off, preventing yellow 5 playing the ball. Oh no, and this one, sorry, preventing yellow 3 playing the ball. Now this one is a good contest.
Taurirangi. Away for Soakula. Hasn't been able to make the meters to.
So here you notice the players actually go into contact, stay on their feet for a while.
Soakula.
Player goes to ground, And the latched player stays on his feet, and then other players then join. So this is a good contest, and we play on in these situations where that player stayed on his feet, done all the hard work, and played some positive rugby, and we want to play on in these situations.
It's because they're the Chiefs.
Sorry, Nigel.
It's because they're the Chiefs.
Had to be the Chiefs, just for you.
My team.
The meters.
So you'll see it in slow motion. Players gone to ground. Arriving players stay on their feet. 1, 2, 3. No problems. Play on.
It's like how I've been doing all the time, like this.
And again, 2 support players not bound. They stay up on their feet and they win the contest before they go off their feet. So this is a case of they've won the contest and then they go off afterwards. So the defenders have retreated at this point. They've given up. So in that case, we're going to play on.
No, it's not out. Smith goes again. Very frustrating here for the Crusaders.
So player goes into contact and arriving players come in and stay on their feet. In number 19, he's gone down. So the players have been brought down by the actions of number 19, red. So we're going to play on at that point. Even though they've gone off their feet eventually, they've already won. So we're not going to blow the whistle there. Any questions on that?
It was a bloody good win by Highlanders, that was.
That was, yeah.
It was, yep.
I think their only win.
Pissed the Crusaders off, I can tell you that, no end.
Well, that wasn't last season, was it?
Just finished.
Yeah. The one question I've had from one of the coaches on this was, what about a third play with just his hand on?
Not bound, is he?
Not bound, so we can play on there. However, be careful that he's not adding extra weight into that tackle and maybe have a word with them if they are and manage it.
We'll do the best we can.
Exactly. That's all we can ask.
It's a learning curve. I mean, we're not going to get
a learning curve for everybody. We're probably going to make mistakes. We'll probably miss a few, but we'll use this next 2.5 months as a learning.
You'll probably get some video clips from me.
And coaches and players. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt, Carl.
I'm sure Carl will be clipping everything and sending it to me. He usually does. And I love him for it. Okay, and the last one of the 5 changes that we've got coming up. It's a safety rule for the safety of the jackler. So they've defined the jackler now. And if I go back to the definitions, the jackler is the first arriving teammate of the tackler at the tackle. So tackle's been made, one of the tacklers' teammates arrive. They must remain on their feet and contest directly onto the ball, not over the ball and back, not onto the floor and back, but onto the ball.
Yeah.
And if they were previously involved in the tackle, so if they were the tackler or assist tackler, they must release, come through the gate, of course, and then release the ball carrier before they contest the ball.
Well, the tackler's on the ground, so he's got to get up off his feet.
Got to get on his feet, got to come through the gate.
He's not a jackler.
Directly on the ball. So yeah, the tackler could be the jackler if he gets up
after the
jackler.
After.
Yeah.
But on their feet, through the gate, over the ball, on the ball directly. Okay, that's what we're looking for first. And then we're looking at law 920. A player may lever the jackler out of the contest at the ruck, but must not drop their weight onto them or target their lower limbs.
Okay.
So now I'll show you some good examples of what we're looking for. Okay. So you've got a classic low driving clean out. They're not always possible, and we don't want heads banging into each other. Watch this now. So here,
for a moment, thought he spotted a gap.
We've had number 5 red.
Closed on him. Penalty to Japan.
You know, good rhythm there from.
They're in there for the
player. This
just
is
look here, Ian
by
Henderson running onto the ball.
Look at his
good
actions
momentum.
here.
Connor sees there's no.
Let me just rewind it a sec. So here, he's got a good position over the back of the player, and he levers him out. Just pulls him to the side, doesn't lift him, doesn't drop him onto his head or neck, He just pulls him out to the side, so he removes him from the ruck. It's not collapsing the ruck. He's levering that player out of the way. So it is a contest, and that's going to be made. That's illegal. That's legal now. You may lever that player out of the jackler out of the way. Okay.
Is that not classed as putting weight on the player?
No. Because he's pulling him sideways. He's not dropping on top of him.
They make it so technical.
Yeah.
That's a fine line, that one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, but it definitely looks like he's on top of the player and then pulls him to the side.
That's me.
So he's on top there. He's not putting weight on him. Well, maybe a little bit.
That's putting weight on him.
Yeah.
But is this law effectively made to get rid of the crocodile roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can we just make it simple and say no crocodile roll?
We've banned it in Malta from last season.
Oh, good. I mean, I knew it was coming years ago, so I stopped coaching it about 5 years ago for this reason, because I knew it was coming.
We're penalising it if it happens on the pitch.
Where was it? 920. So a player may lever the jackler out of the contest at the ruck. So you can pull them sideways. So they're not. They're not.
How do you know if they're dropping their weight or not? You know, that's the difference.
Depends on how you define a croc roll. So you can lever that jackler out of the contest, but you can't put weight on them. So you can pull them sideways, but you can't.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too much. Too much. It's either one way or the other way. That's it. There's all this rubbish in between.
Yeah. That to me,
levering the jackler out of the contest, which is this is what they define. So if you are allowed to lever the jackler out of the contest. So this would be from what I've read.
No, never leave the boat.
He's been pulled down, just sideways, leaving him out onto his back. So you use his body weight to pull him.
That's the definition of a croc roll to me, which I haven't.
That is a perfect croc roll.
Yeah.
That's legal.
Okay, so I think the best way to describe it then would making sure the roller puts their arms around the waist of the jackler and rolls them out that way instead of. I mean, that's how I coach it now, not the old style through the arm and loop and twist.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're going low on the player and we're levering them sideways. We're not lifting them in any way. We're not putting them on their head or shoulders. We're not pushing body weight or putting body onto their legs.
And we're not falling onto their legs as we're pulling them over either. Oh, I think that's later, isn't it? Sorry, I might have jumped to it. So.
Later.
You'll see.
Oh, really?
Have you not watched this, Michael?
Robinson.
Here, it's just a lever. It's a little shove just to move them out. It's not a big motion that we're looking at here. You seen that one?
So, I mean, nothing's really changed in that. It's just been re-emphasized.
Clasp the player under the arms and just lever him sideways. So you're using your own body weight to pull that player sideways. You're not lifting them.
What else are you going to do? You're going to just lie on them.
Right. Here we go.
Sorry.
The arriving player must not drop their weight onto the lower limbs of a jackler. See, for me, I think this is still within law. I don't think there's a lot of change.
Lower limbs. How the hell is he going to get around to the lower limbs of the jackler?
That's my question here now.
Yeah.
So, jackler is coming in now on the ball.
Yeah.
Look at number 15.
Yeah. How do you get to his lower limbs? His lower limbs is behind the goal line, behind the line.
Body weight onto that player now, and then there, it's the arriving player, number 24.
Can I ask a stupid question? But by lower limbs, do they mean the limbs that are like? Are they referring to his arms in that situation?
Yes.
No, his legs. No, it's his legs.
Lower limbs are legs.
Lower legs is below your
legs mainly.
How the hell is he going to get to the lower limbs?
24 here. 24.
Unless he jumps over the whole thing.
Only 23 players in the team. How can that be 24?
No, but wouldn't it also be side entry if they get the lower limbs?
This is my argument. All we're doing there is changing the wording and making side entry illegal again. For me, that's side entry at the ruck, and he's pulled him over and put weight on the leg.
Good old Will Rugby.
So it's actually, if you watch, because I remember this game, it's actually not the jackler who does the weight on the leg. His leg is trapped underneath another Italian, and as he's jackled out of the way, his knee actually gets bent backwards. Yeah. So it's, I think that's what they're trying to aim for. Is
for shit's sake.
You know, he's grabbing his knee there as the players come around the side and pulled his.
Play tiddlywinks.
That's now foul play. Side entry is a technical offence. That's foul play. So there's the difference.
So is that a cardable offence then?
It could be, yes.
Oh, you should go play football.
Wait, so what is the sanction to hitting the knees? Just a penalty.
Penalty. And if you think it's dangerous, then you can card it.
Go to a yellow.
Again here, the near side arriving player drops his body weight onto the lower limb.
Simmons again. Canningham did well, but Carter's wrapped around that, driven off the ball.
What's Joe Marler, number 1?
Oh, that looked pretty nasty, actually.
Right there, yeah. He actually tries to jackal, but gives up and just lands on his legs. So
okay, so that's now not just side entry; it's actually foul play for putting weight onto that player's leg now. So we now go from a technical offence of side entry at the ruck to a possible card. So they've upped the stakes on it because there's too many injuries coming from that.
You're going to have to be really clear if you're going to card.
Yes. So if you do see that, be very, very clear that it's weight onto the leg and not just side entry.
Yeah.
I mean, something like this is going to be pretty hard to pick up at our level because this sort of stuff is picked up on the video.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference at our level in that we are going to ping that at side entry anyway. And tell people to be very careful, and we might manage it before penalising for foul play. The outcome's going to be the same unless it's extremely obvious. I don't see the community level picking up these as often as we would at the professional level.
Personally, I think anything that looks like a
side entry, no attempt to bind, and impacts directly on the side of the knee. So it's no longer just a technical offence for side entry. It's now foul play for going straight.
Start for Crude and Beckenfield, Nankerville. Near Solakula again. Oh, wide cut.
So it'll be number 5 you want to watch with the headband on with the side entry. And he's taken
the Weber option on the other side as well. Yeah. So and maybe that's symptomatic of being sitting down for 10 minutes and just losing the pace of the game a bit. Justin, I don't know, but
his lower limb.
He had options either side, and they were very quick options as well. So good news for the Chiefs.
And he's went to knock himself out as well. Yeah. He's completely mistimed that, hasn't he?
Chiefs players troubled a lot of them.
Yeah. Terrible. Honestly, they're terrible, these Chiefs lads.
Yeah. Wonder who their coach is.
So I've muted you all. I can't hear a damn word you're saying.
Are there any questions on that final trial law?
I think, let's be honest, at our level, as you said, Jules, it's not going to be really targeting the limbs. It's going to be a case of side entry because you don't have, video footage to look back on. But for me, anything that looks like a croc roll, ping it.
That's the contentious issue I have because a lot of those looked like croc rolls, but some of them were okay, some of them weren't, which is why I just tend to stop coaching it.
Yeah. And I'm personally not a fan of the croc roll. I think it's dangerous, and some of those videos are unclear if they're legal or not legal. In that they use the word lever, which they've said is legal. However, when you look
Julian, could you go back to sorry to interrupt, but could you go back to the actual wording of the law?
The croc roll one?
No, just the last one.
This one. No, this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so
the jacklet out of the contest at the ruck.
Yeah, but so for me, it seems that the purpose of this law is to stop people trying to injure a player by hitting them on the knee or the lower limb there.
Exactly.
So it's nothing to do with the croc roll at all.
No.
So the croc roll is still legal.
It's actually making it legal there, I think, by saying you're allowed to lever the jacklet out of the contest.
Which is why the one with Alaman Jones was said as being okay, although it doesn't really look okay, but anyway.
Exactly.
This can also bring inconsistency into the riffing as well. You know, some people say,
how?
That's the problem with this.
Think of this: if it's legal, you're allowed to lever that jacklet out safely. Then play on.
One version of a croc roll is going to be different to another.
Exactly, and we've seen a few of them in the past, especially in the sevens qualifiers. I know, Nigel, you had a red card on one of them.
Yep. So I've seen
where a player's being croc rolled out directly onto his head. Now that for me was a clear red card.
But that's not a red because it's a croc roll. That's a red because he landed the guy in his head.
Pulled out onto his head. Like I said, he's been lifted out, not levered out, but lifted out and dropped on his head, as opposed to a croc roll or the lever of the jackler, where you use your body weight to slide sideways.
Yeah, the guy got red carded, did grab the kid under his arms, but the problem was he just sumoed him backwards over onto his head. It wasn't even an attempt to croc roll him.
I'm not going to get that video out to show the
No.
So when we're refereeing this levering out to the side, be very careful about safety, because the professionals will be trained to do it very, very well. We're not dealing with professional players in a lot of our games. The top divisions, I think, will do it well. Some of the teams, the lower divisions, maybe not so well. They'll still be training and practice.
It's not just about being coached well, Jules, in regards to the players. I think you've got to take into account the injuries are caused because the players are not conditioned in a way that allows their legs and limbs and things to be able to be croc rolled, which is why a lot of the professional players don't really get injuries that badly with them. But for the lower games, like in Malta, for example, or even in Sweden, you're going to have players going off with cartilage problems and everything, breaking ligaments, a whole lot. So I would personally, that's why, our director of rugby actually banned it from Malta from last season, just to simple, no injuries basis, because the players are not conditioned in a way that allows them to play that way.
Well, for now, we technically have to allow it, but we can bring it up with the Tevlins Committee and the laws and see if we can do anything about it. But we'll do that in consultation with any coaches across the country and let them make the decision. It's their players, it's their safety, not just us.
Would you not want to head that up yourself?
I'd push it, but it's not my decision as such, or our decision as a group of referees. It's a joint decision with referees, coaches, committee, and board, and so on.
Okay.
So for now, it's not been decided on, so we go by what's written in the law book.
Yeah. Which is always, by World Rugby, is very bloody confusing.
Right, we've gone through all 5 now. Are there any questions on all of these lovely laws? I'm going to stop sharing the screen.
All 5, I've only got highlighted 4. 50-22 goal line dropout, flying wedge / latch, unless you've included the latch as a
lever.
Okay, and then 5.
Any questions?
I mean, one question.
Coaches? We've got
one question from me, from Philip. An unsuccessful penalty conversion that is grounded inside the goal line. Is that a goal line or is that still a 22?
22.
There are exceptions on.
There's a 22.
It's still a penalty.
22.
Yeah.
It's still a penalty.
It's not a attacking kick.
It's not a kick from a
it's
not an attacking kick from open play.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a place.
And drop goal as well? Drop goals?
Drop goal as well, the same. Yeah, it's attempt at goal, so it's a dropout. 22.
So 22.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
No problem. Yeah, there's no change to those laws.
How many coaches we got here today?
3 or 4.
Oh, is that all? How many teams you got?
3 or 4.
No. Yes, there should be more coaches here.
Yeah, we'll put this up online for people to watch if they need to see it. If they want.
I can only speak for myself, but the only reason I found out about this meeting was because Jules didn't post in the ref group and posted on his normal page. I know you said, Jules, that there was a message going out to all the clubs. I haven't seen that message going to.
I literally copied on that message today, Robin. It was sent out today.
I got it today.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen anything going to Enköping, but maybe it went to the.
It's sent
to
out
the
to
club.
the president.
Yeah, it would go to the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it did go out today, and there were apologies in there, I think, about it being late. So the decision being late and everything, which I said at the start of the meeting, I think.
Because you only got 3 days to prepare.
Yeah. Well, we all have.
Yeah. Does I mean players and coaches only got 3 days to prepare, haven't they?
Really 1 day, unless you train 3 days. Right.
But there's no.
I train every day.
But to be honest, though, like it's not gonna change too much.
No.
I agree.
I agree, and it's going to be a learning process for all of us. And we'll hopefully, you guys who are refereeing the games this weekend coming up, will bring that up in the pre-match briefings and talk to coaches before the game. Answer any questions, take a little bit of extra time with them if you need to. And
there's going to be a lot of whistles.
Have a little patience with the players, I would say. Who haven't
they'll be as rusty as what the rest are.
All right, guys. Any more comments or questions on any of these laws or trials?
Just
one thing.
It's going to be trial and error, that's for sure.
One thing we need to address, that is, if we see one of those cavalry charged, we need to be in a very good position, because a slight trend we have seen is that the player with the ball brings up his elbow a bit. So we need to be in very good position to see if that happens, especially during a cavalry charge.
But that's no change from the last 2 seasons, where tucked arm is fine, leading with it is not.
Yeah.
But that's nothing to do with the trial laws. That's just existing law.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I will
No.
stop recording.
Say
thank you, everybody.
Is the schedule out for who's refereeing the games? Is it on the webpage?
I'm just going to stop the recording a sec.